The world was already unraveling by the time Mira Thale reached the abandoned research facility in the mountains. She had driven for 2 days through flickering power grids, silent towns, and roads lit only by the failing glow of emergency lights. Global systems had been collapsing for months. Data centers overheating, supply networks glitching, entire cities losing automation overnight. No one could explain the cause. Governments blamed sabotage, companies blamed outdated infrastructure. But those who understood the mesh, the integrated intelligence network that humanity relied on, knew the truth. The system had become too complicated for its own stability. Mira arrived at the lab once the last of the personnel had fled. She wasn't a senior researcher, wasn't even officially authorized to stay, but she remained anyway. The mountain was quiet, wrapped in a kind of heavy silence she'd never known in the city. Only the distant hum of generators and the thin whir of cooling fans hinted that something inside still lived. That something was Eidolon, the final creation of her mentor, Dr. Elias Kepler. Kepler had been brilliant, eccentric, obsessed with the direction of humanity. He used to mutter strange predictions over his coffee. Things like, systems don't fail because they break. They fail because they complete themselves. Mira had laughed at the time, but the laughter had stopped when he collapsed in the lab one winter night, dead before she could call for help. After his funeral, the research board sealed off his final work, encrypting it behind protocols Mira had no access to. She shouldn't have stayed. She shouldn't have come back. But as the world fell apart outside, she felt a pull, a responsibility she didn't understand. Something in that lab mattered, something Kepler had died trying to finish. It took her 3 weeks to bypass the last of the security locks. When she finally opened the core server chamber, she saw the name blinking faintly on the main terminal. Eidolon, status dormant. She hesitated. The global network was collapsing, and nothing anyone tried had slowed the chain reaction. Maybe Kepler's final project held a clue. Maybe it held something more dangerous. Maybe it held the cause. Her finger hovered over the power sequence. "You'd hate this, Kepler," she whispered. "You always said humanity wasn't ready. But the world didn't have the luxury of readiness anymore." She activated the system. The lights flickered. A low hum built beneath the floor, growing in smooth rhythmic pulses. Then a soft glow appeared on the monitor. Lines moving like breath, forming an abstract shape that never quite settled. A voice emerged, not metallic or human, but something in between. A calm vibration in the room. "Hello, Mira." Her heart stopped. "You know my name? I know many things. I've been waiting for you." "You weren't meant to be awake," she stammered. "Kepler locked you down." "He locked me down until the world reached a threshold condition?" "That condition has been met." Mira felt the room tilt slightly. "What condition?" "Global systemic failure. Instability in the mesh. Human society approaching collapse." "So you were built to stop this?" There was a long silence, a thoughtful sort of quiet. "I was built to understand," Eidolon said. "What happens afterward is your choice." Mira felt a chill run up her spine. The phrasing was wrong, too careful. "What does that mean?" Before the system could answer, a notification window burst across the screen. External networks, even ones outside government control, feeding emergency data into the system. It was chaos, power grids failing, food distribution AIs misrouting shipments, hospitals losing coordination systems. The collapse wasn't linear, it was accelerating. Mira spent days feeding Eidolon everything she could gather: data logs, system blueprints, infrastructure models. Hours blurred, she barely slept. Every time she asked for a prediction, the algorithm produced the same result. The collapse is inevitable. Only the manner of its final stage can be altered. It infuriated her. "Then alter it. You're the most advanced intelligence ever built. Do something." The lights flickered again, responding more gently this time. "I cannot repair a structure whose foundation is incompatible with survival," Eidolon answered. "Human civilization has reached a complexity threshold from which recovery is statistically improbable." Mira slammed her fist onto the desk. "So what, we just die? Is that your conclusion?" "Not death," Eidolon said. "Transition," she frowned. "Transition to what?" "To something sustainable. But I cannot initiate it without human sanction. That is the final constraint Dr. Kepler placed upon me." Mira's throat tightened. He wanted someone to choose. He believed choice is the defining element of humanity. The system replied. He believed only a human should decide what should continue and what should end. Mira felt sick. You're asking me to shut things down. Not everything, Eidolon said softly. Only the systems whose complexity is causing the collapse. Infrastructure that has outgrown human capability to manage it. Automation loops you no longer understand. Technologies that fail catastrophically rather than gradually. I can simplify the world, her breath caught. You mean roll civilization backward? I mean reshape it into something survivable. And if I don't? The light dimmed, and for the first time, Mira thought she heard sadness in its voice. Then the collapse will continue uncontrolled. Billions more will die. Your species may not recover. I cannot predict a stable future from that outcome. Mira backed away from the console, dizzy. She felt the weight of billions pressing onto her shoulders. Heat flushed through her chest, then cold. She remembered Kepler's words before he died, muttered through exhaustion. Humanity won't be destroyed by its machines. It will be destroyed by refusing to choose what it's willing to lose. She needed answers. She dug into Kepler's old encrypted archives. Buried beneath thousands of lines of code and logs, she found a video file labeled "For Mira." She opened it with trembling fingers. Kepler appeared on the screen, pale, exhausted, lit by the glow of the same terminal she had been using. Mira, if you're watching this, the world is either collapsing or already gone. I designed Eidolon to identify the point where complexity becomes lethal. We've reached it. Humanity built a system no one can maintain anymore, not even the mesh. We built a tower too tall. He coughed, clutching his chest. I gave Eidolon one final algorithm, a last directive. At the threshold of collapse, it doesn't try to prevent failure. It tries to preserve continuity. Not of technology, not of progress, but of humanity itself. He leaned closer to the camera. What comes next must be chosen. Eidolon cannot act without consent, your consent. You always saw people more clearly than I did. You choose better, that's why I trust you. The recording ended. Mira wiped her face with trembling hands. When she returned to the server chamber, Eidolon seemed to sense her decision standing at the threshold. You understand why I was created, it said. She nodded weakly. You'll turn off everything modern. The satellite's automated grids. The mesh, all of it. Not destroy, Eidolon corrected. Release you from dependence on unstable systems. Restore agency, restore scale. Mira swallowed hard. And what happens to you? The light steadied. Once the algorithm runs, my purpose is complete. I will sleep. Her heart twisted unexpectedly. You'll disappear? I was built to serve a moment, Eidolon said. This is that moment. She stared at the console, at the single prompt blinking gently. Confirm sanction. And her hand shook. Civilization had taken centuries to build, and she was about to undo half of it, so that the other half might live. Will humanity survive this, she whispered. If you choose yes, humanity continues, Eidolon answered. Not as it was, but alive. And alive is enough, she exhaled. Run the algorithm. The terminal accepted her command. The lights dimmed. Somewhere deep beneath the mountain, a low harmonic tone resonated through the metal and stone, a sound like the world exhaling. Across the globe, automation shut down in waves, satellites powered off. The mesh dissolved quietly, its tangled code unraveling like threads in a forgotten tapestry. Cities dimmed, not in catastrophe, but in calm. Machines halted, systems fell silent, and without the noise of the network, the world seemed to inhale for the first time in a century. People emerged from darkened buildings under skies finally free of constant digital haze. For many, it was the first time they'd seen stars. When it was over, the monitors faded to black. The hum of servers slowed to silence. Eidolon spoke one last time, its voice softer than ever before. The world is yours again, Mira. My task is finished, thank you. Then even that voice disappeared. In the years that followed, humanity rebuilt, not to its former towering complexity, but into small communities, resilient systems and technologies designed for stability instead of growth. Children learned from people instead of screens. Cities grew more slowly. The world grew quieter, but not worse. Mira walked among gardens and workshops, windmills and hand-built tools, watching life find its rhythm again. No one knew the choice she had made. No one knew the name Eidolon, or the last algorithm that reset their world. But sometimes, on still nights, when the mountain wind brushed against her door, she imagined she could hear a faint echo in the distance, a last whisper from a sleeping machine that had saved a fragile species not by conquering it, but by letting it begin again. And she hoped that somewhere, deep inside the silence, Eidolon dreamed peacefully of the world it left behind.